Hello YouTube and welcome to episode 39 of the Rise of Icelandic Football here with HK. It is Damien and it's time for another episode. It's a transfer wrap-up episode along with the first game of the season against our old rivals in FH. Reason we've decided to do the first game of the season is I wanted to wait right up until as long as possible for the window closed to do this transfer wrap-up episode, because I'm still on the lookout for maybe a player or two, but we have spent big this window, so there isn't too much money left in the bank to be spent anyhow, and I've just feel FH first game of the season, great place to do the transfer episode and put a game in as well. As you can see here on our key employee screen, there's a new hot prospect in town, but we'll get to Hugo in a second. Our new key man, apparently, according to the game, and according to me too, is Giorgio Filipov. He has been growing, please do not look at the red arrows and go, really? He has been growing a sensational amount, especially after the injury of Flamen. He's been our key man up top. He's now just turned 19. He'll be homegrown in the Champions League next season. And as you can see from his scout report, he is sensational. He's basically a star better than Bonanin. We know how good Bonanin can be on his day. Flamen has the same star rating when he will be back from injury. He's actually back in the starting 11 at the moment. And you will see Flamen and him in the same sort of side. I'll show you the system in a second. It's slightly different to what you've seen in the past, but not too different at all. But Filipov, if you look at his stats, he looks sensational as in the 19-year-old Bulgarian. 8 goals and 14 caps, 20 determination. He is looking fantastic, growing, and we're currently getting him to do some new player traits as well, as it needs a little bit of work and a little bit of growth. But without getting too, rambly here, let's get straight onto the transfer history. As we can see, no person has gone out for money. We obviously said at the end of the episode where we got knocked out on the final day of the Champions League, which is the last time I think we're here against Napoli, maybe it's time to start looking to move on all these players that we've had here for a few years, because they haven't done the business yet. Like Jimmy Wagner's, the Kanans, the Repasses, all them who've been here, seen it all, were there brought in as the next big things for the club after we made the Champions League and got out the group for the very first time in our very first season of asking. And they never pushed on, never really got to it, and we never won anything. And I said maybe it's time to sell all these guys, buy in some other players, really build, go big, spend big on a full new team, and then see what happens. I decided against that, and I looked at the team. I did a lot of scouting. I saw what was out there, saw what was available to us, and I said, you know what, we might need a one-star man or in the middle of the park to help dictate a game with Steven, because nothing against Brian. Brian was a sensational player. He's still on the bench for us as well. And games got big, like the Napoli one, where we were 1-0 up and controlling it. The Napoli get back into 1-1 and it starts getting a bit end-to-end. No one really put that foot on the ball and started dictating the play or breaking up play. We didn't have that sort of midfield quality. So for a star midfielder, if a star left attacking mid came up, I was going to put Gainan on the bench. It didn't happen. Star left attacking mid didn't happen in terms of for the money anyway, that wanting to come to us. Obviously for another backup centre back instead of having Philippe, someone that's a bit younger, will grow into a Champions League homegrown spot as well, would be quite nice as well. So we went out and we targeted those areas, and this is what we've brought in so far: 14.5 mil, no money coming in. We put Aaron on loan to FH, one of our youth prospects. Really wanted to get him in maybe at one of the clubs that are playing in Europe. It didn't happen, unfortunately. FH though, great facilities. I expect him to be back in Europe this season, this time around. We do have him today as well. And Arnon will not be allowed to play against us. But if we go into our transfers, the first one we made isn't a transfer I was planning to make, but as Gimmer was released from IBV and spent most of his time without a club, and I was worried that he would either A, retire, B, wouldn't get picked up in Iceland, get picked up somewhere else, and then we would never see him in Iceland again. What I decided to do is pick him up, and my plan is to loan him out to an Icelandic club that's playing in Europe every season and get him, because he'd probably be the best Icelandic keeper that they can get apart from Jon. I'll pay all his wages for him, even though 550 is not too much, and then they can go and use him, which would be sensational. I just thought that it's just smart business for the rest of the save and growing Icelandic football. Next on the list though is Christopher Callis. I've told everybody the Centre of Excellence is somewhere you have to look. You'll find some great Australians there. The Australian looks sensational. He's come in from the Centre of Excellence, like I said, and he was playing superb there. He's then come in. Gunnarsson picked up an injury during our cup runs, obviously, and as you can see, 3 appearances with 4 goals with an 8.57. He's been fantastic. He's going to start today, as goodness is not 100% fit. But look at the stats. Physically, he is an absolute animal of great natural fitness, good jumping reach at 6'1", great pace. It reminds you a lot of those physicals like Silvio Ragnoli. You've got someone that has great determination, good decisions, composure's quite good. His flair, obviously, teamwork and vision for centre attacking mid. But the ones that I do like is his, anticipation's up to 10, bravery's at 10, work rate's at 10. There's all going to go into the 11s. Being at 18, you would see these 9s and 8s probably get to the 11s as well. And then all of a sudden, all his mentals are green of 11, apart from the leadership, which obviously you can do without. It's just good to have someone that's a leader. And then if you look at his technicals, if he gets the technicals in the right area, he could definitely play many roles. Shadow striker could be one of them. He's got good finishing, good dribbling, good long shots for it. He could definitely play shadow striker in the near future. And I do like playing with shadow strikers. I'm currently training him to play shadow striker, or maybe not. Maybe I thought I did that. I haven't got him training just as yet because he's being tutored by Repas. He's got some good player traits, obviously, for Cullis. If we stop clicking around and go back to Cullis, but he's definitely a player with a lot of stats in a lot of key areas that can obviously improve being 18. And obviously, players from the centre of excellence generally have very good potential and generally grow to that potential. So I reckon we're in with quite a good player here. It's all about finding those sort of backup rotational players that have, of a young age that can grow into being first team players, challenge for 13 spots, and become homegrown for the nation as well. It's quite good. Obviously, Victor Hugo was our new hot prospect on town, and you can see why the Brazilian cost me 75 or 79k. There we are. Absolute bargain. Got great headering, got great marking, great tackling, decent determination. 6'6" with 17 jumping reach, absolute monster. Wins everything in the air. Got decent determination as well, and obviously got very decent mentals as well. Being at 19 with game time, this guy will grow. He's got great potential. Once again, another player that probably become homegrown for the Champions League. So we're hoping that he can keep growing and keep getting towards that potential and turn into the hot prospect that he deserves to be. He did play a little bit in the cup games as well and got a 7.78. Don't think he's going to start for us today, but he's definitely a player to keep an eye out and watch him grow. The next one that we brought in, we already knew this one was happening, but Manteti finally turned 18, the South African. He looks sensational, doesn't he? Great determination, very good physicals. Mentally, he's just sensational for a defensive midfielder and as a ball-winning midfielder. Great tackling, passings there as well. Probably needs a little bit more vision, but 15 headering as well at 6 foot with decent jumping reach. He's going to be an absolute monster in terms of coming off the bench and destroying the game for the opposition. Late doors, I think he'll be sensational. But lucky last, and our key signing, our best signing we can have is Charles Pereira. The Brazilian is sensational. And without further ado, we're going to click on him here. He spent 14 mil, and you see why. I said I needed that star man to play next to Steven. We're going to get on to Steven in a second. But we needed that star man, and this is that star man. Just have a look at him, the 20-year-old Brazilian. How he hasn't played for Brazil yet is beyond me a little bit, because look at the physicals on him. The physicals at 6'1" with the 16 jumping reach, the pace, the stamina, the strength, the 15 strength. He looks absolutely amazing. 15 determination as well. Great vision, great passing, great tackling. He's going to grow in all these areas as well. The flair, the leadership, the off the ball, that's all going to get to the 11s. Concentration's going to get up as well. Teamwork's going to get up to 11s. I'm expecting all these mentals to get into the 11s. Got great first touch as well, great marking, decent long shots. Definitely prefer him on support. But one of the things that we had to promise him was that we would play him on deep line playmaker in the 6 role on defend, or the DM, whatever you want to call him. But he's going to come in and play the 6 role, and it means we change the system slightly. If we go to the system itself, that's what it's looking like right now. That's going to be our starting system. I was looking for a left back, and why I've left the thing so late for maybe getting Gleeson and keeping Gleeson growing. But look at that. Gleeson is growing in every department possible. Tackling's finally up to 9. Need to get that to 11 as quickly as possible. Determination hasn't picked up yet, but obviously the squad is very determined at the moment, so I'm expecting that to get up as well. And he can play fullback on the defend, can play fullback on attack fairly well. The crossing sensational. He can use either foot, so he can cross with either foot as well. He's going to be our starting left back for the year if he's going to grow like that, so it doesn't really matter too much. In terms of the rest of the team, it's not too bad. Steven, though, is in pretty poor form, is quite upset with us. He wanted to join Monaco, and I said no, look, it's not happening. He then wanted to complain to the teammates because he wanted a bigger move. At that stage, no one was interested in, not a problem. We then rejected our offer from Barcelona, and he got happy. He was unhappy, and so as such, he's been very temperamental with me. Try to get our teammates to turn against us, but our teammates had none of it. They're like, no, you need to stay, which is quite good to have. But if you look at him here, he is sensational. He's our best centre mid by far. And if he played two defensive midfielders, he wouldn't be too far off Pereira as well. He's technically brilliant. You've got to keep Steven in and around the clubs. It doesn't matter if Barcelona want him. I don't care. You know, you would have to pay him the 30 mil because I don't want to let him go. I think these two in the middle in this system is not too bad. In terms of wingers, Kane is at his level. You know, he is sensational, is Kane for sure. But at the same time, I feel like in Europe he goes missing. This keeps bouncing between 3-star and 3.5 star. I honestly think that at left attacking mid, going forward, Flemen could do the job. Coming back, especially from injury, he could do quite well in this spot. It's taken to the next. I don't want to do that, and that's okay. That's fine. But look at him here. He's got great dribbling, good finishing, good crossing, good first touch. Decent passing as a inside forward and good speed with other physicals. Obviously, I'd love to play him as a complete forward, but you've got to remember Filipiov has grown into this absolute animal. If you go to coach's report and go to striker on Flemen there, if you go to striker, he's now some way down because of his injury. But at the same time, I expect him to get back up to that level if he starts growing. But Filipiov is now head and shoulders our best striker at the club, so we're going to have to play him. But I want Flemen to come into this role and play over Kane, play quite well. And we know he can play that role very well as well. In terms of that, that's in terms of transfers and everything else like that. The rest of the team's pretty much the same. As you can see there, Gunnarsson and Stein been past fit. Stein missed a few games. Isberg's been playing and been playing very well. But we're going to put Gunnarsson on the bench here, which means Revi Roger is going to miss out just. I feel a little bit sorry for Revi. I feel like if he was at another club, he would definitely be the star man. Unfortunately, he's here and he's about third choice for us. I don't expect Callis to be in this spot for too long. I'm really just giving Callis another game here because he's growing and he's been in such good form. And if he scores again today, I'm just going to keep him going until he hasn't scored in a game or he doesn't get involved. He gets lower than a 7 in a game and we have to drag him. But in that case, then we're going to have Cardozo, Hugo, Kane, Bojan, Brian, Gunnarsson and Tito Bonnin on the bench. It's a very strong bench to have right now. But it means Murta, who's been growing, we nearly sold Murta for about 9 mil. We tried to bring in a keeper on a free that was of this level. The keeper rejected us to go to Monaco, I think, off the top of my head. And then we decided to keep Murta. Murta's sensational. We don't really want to sell Murta. He's now playing for Portugal as well. So we've got an international keeper. We just saw Gleason before. Prospect's still growing and looking good. Is the Czech Republic 21-year-old. Alt's looking decent. He's been called up to the German national team but hasn't played for him yet, but he's looking good. The determination, he's looking sensational on a stopper. I want to get him playing center defend on defend, but he's not really doesn't really enjoy that as the same. He doesn't enjoy that. When that happens and he gets to full that, I'm going to also play defensive centre back and just keep the passing as simple as possible for these two. I feel like that maybe being the way forward is giving these two more defensive roles than playing this out expansive playing out from the back system might help us. We're still going to look to play out from the back, but maybe not give them those killer passes for both of them because maybe they haven't grown into the players to do. We might just do this now and then maybe put centre defend on defend as well for Alt and get him starting to train maybe more as a centre defensive, as a central defender. Definitely can do it. Just needs to learn. Wagner's going in there. Steven and Pereira, who we've seen. Stein's looking like Stein. Disregard that. He's been growing. Don't worry. It's Stein. Flemen's finally back from his broken leg. He's only played the 2 games since coming back from the broken leg. Callis is growing, of course. And Filipiov, our key man as well. We're going to not talk about it anymore. Get straight into the game. Here we go against FH. First game of the league. Expecting a domination. And here we go. So Puthusson, Bozka, Thurgundson, Polek. It's just a similar side that we were seeing. Invi Garson, who's obviously probably second choice to Jon, apart from the guy that we just signed, is there as well. And he looks quite good for FH. So FH surprisingly finishing 5th last season. I'm hoping to go out there and beat them well. My favourites for a reason. Go out there and go do your job, lads. It's not really new look, so to say. There's a lot of boys that have been here and been around in this team, but we're giving Gleason a full season to start and really grow. Carlos Pereira has been growing since he came in as well. And Filipiov, this is his first season where he will be starting from the off. One big piece of news for the team is Yagyo picked up an injury in training. He's out for about 3 weeks or so. So he's not on the bench today, but that's okay. We got obviously the depth. You just got to remember Yag's going to come onto the bench as well. It's just looking sensational, that little bench. Yag and Bojan before the Champions League comes around this time around, they're going to be classified as homegrown as well. 6 minutes in, a chance for Wagner now. Finds Steven. Steven's ball looks for Cullis. Cullis, the Australian, into Stein. Stein back to Steven. Steven now, he finds Stein. Stein lays it across the box. And Flamen, back from his long-term injury, has scored. I don't know why their hands are shaking. They're going off. I'm just so happy to see Flamen back on the score sheet. Even the commentator said it. That's why I like playing that left as an inside forward, is because he's such a natural goal scorer for us. He's scored so many goals for us in the past. Kanan scores a lot of goals for us too. I just feel like Flamen, when he does come inside into these spots, will definitely score goals. We've seen Kanan miss a fair few of those cutback chances in the Champions League. But we're hoping that won't be the case with Flamen. It's just good to have Flamen and Kanan. Saves me obviously some money spending it on a left attacking mid as well. We've got 2 players that can play it. With his injury layoff, Flamen's now only considered maybe a backup player for us, but we know that if he grows into the player that he was before his injury, he's definitely going to be our key man for us still. In the end, the ball finds Stein from this highlight. Stein inside the Steven. Steven now, his ball will find Cullis, the number 35. Stein now, he will look over to Jimmy Wagner. Wagner, can he find a ball? He does find Stein. Stein, he cuts it back. Flamen's there again. Flamen's got 2. Starting at the left attacking mid, Flamen scores both inside 10 minutes. He's on a brace. Stein set up both, and that's why we're starting Flamen at left mid. I feel like he's going to be an absolute animal there as the inside forward. We actually got him training at left forward again. We obviously got him into an accomplished role, but I would love to become him a natural in that position as well. Flamen goes 2 shots, 2 on target, and we are 2-0 up after 10 minutes. More of the same, please, lads. We generally do this well in the league. Most times than not. FH have really dropped off the boil as well in terms of the save. After we've toppled them, they seem to have just crumbled. Cullis with what is a sensational ball. Hey, he's sprayed that perfectly out to Stein. Stein's ball, in the end, it's whipped straight at Invi Grafferson to claim. For a second there, I thought Stein was going to get a hat-trick across as Filipov made a great run into at the front post. In the end, Wagner will recycle. He'll find Steven again. Steven puts his foot on it, finds Wagner. Pereira, it's a great ball from Pereira, or maybe not. It looked like it was a great ball there through the Stein, but he didn't get on it. Instead, it's rush cleared. Stein, Cullis, from distance, Cullis just over the bar. For half a second, he thought he scored. 19 minutes played. It could easily be 3 or 4 as well right now. Playing very well. The new, not really a new look HK side, but a pretty good HK side nonetheless. Magnuson's a long ball forward. Prospect cleans that one up. And Gearson on this left fullback side finds Steven inside. Great first touch. Finds Filipov, who can bring others into play or drive at people. Instead, he looks for Stein out wide. Stein now, he whips that one front post. It's cleared away. And now Magnuson may be on a chance to break here for FH. FH, the ball forward, Bobby Cruz's ball was cut out by Pereira. And that's what I really like from Pereira, is that he's defensively very good. That ball over the top there from Cullis looking for Stein. Stein gets there first, cuts it back across. Once again, it's cleared again, but one again by Wagner to Steven now. Can Steven find a ball? Looks at Flamen. Flamen takes one touch and he's put it just wide. He could have had his hat-trick in 20 minutes, but instead, we're only still 2-0 up. Finally, FH have their first shot. We've dominated the game. We could easily be 3 or 4 up at this stage. Would love another one before half-time. We have a corner here. Steven, he lays on top of the box. Flamen tackled. It falls back to Filipov. Filipov, he's hit the post as our star complete forward. It fell back to him. He snapped at that one there, and it just hasn't killed back enough and hit the base of the post. Highlight from the corner leads to nothing. What is new? 33 minutes played, and we are still only 2 goals up, but looking sensational on the field nonetheless in our normal 4-2-3-1 system. I feel like the 4-on-2-on-2 is only going to come out in those big games, and that's really it. Steven now on the ball. Wagner's ball. Filipov is there first. Filipov has come in and scored, and he continues his goal-scoring run since Flamen's injury. Wagner with what was a great early ball to the front post. Keeper didn't know whether to come for it or not. It was put on the perfect spot where the keepers hate him, where the ball's sort of there but swinging away from you. The keeper sort of came, sort of didn't, and Filipov just prods that one home past the stranded goalkeeper there, and we are 3-0 up after 40 minutes, and it looks like we might get in the half-time 3 goals up. I don't think there's going to be a highlight here. There isn't, and we have been sensational for the first little bit. I'm very happy with how things are going. Keep it up, lads, and let's keep on going here. 3-0 up. Pereira's picked up a booking, which is fine. We'll just bring someone else on later on to make sure he doesn't get sent off. in his first ever league game, only on a 6.9 as well. He's been absolutely killing it in the cup. That long ball's gone long there, but that is won by Prospect though. Hung on to Stevens' ball is not great, but Pereira cleans up yet again. Back to Pereira again. Can he find a good ball, the Brazilian? The ball looking for Flamen is sensational. Filipov's there. Still with Filippo. He finds Callas. Callas takes one touch, takes a second touch. Callas through the keeper, and he continues his goal scoring form. 4 3 cup games, 3 goals, and now 1 league game and a goal. Christopher Callas, if he keeps up like this, he keeps Gunnarsson out of the team. Well, maybe not, but he keeps his spot on the bench, and Revi Roger maybe just has to live with sporadic spots. But look at this, he just keeps his run, stays on side, takes a good touch, takes a second touch, then buries it through the keeper, does the Australian. I really think we have a player on our hands, one of those centre attacking mids from or one of those players from the centre of excellence that just grows and keeps on growing. Instead, Flamen finds Filipov now with another highlight, still with Filipov. Filipov from distance is not really going to trouble anybody. 4-0 up and flying. With terms of changes, we might get Flamen off and just rest him after coming back from a long-term injury and get on Gunnarsson. There's a few changes we can make. I think Pereira is probably going to come off because he's on a booking as well. 68 minutes gone. I feel like that's going to be the change. We're going to get Bojan in at as a deep line playmaker. We're going to just put him on as a register, to be honest, and push him a little bit further forward. We're dominating the game as we'll go have a little bit of a party with it. Filippov's playing quite well up top. Flamen's obviously on 2 goals and not looking, out of shape. He does need the match fitness. His match fitness is pretty much there now. What this does do is it might give us a chance to see Hugo in. We may as well give Hugo as much game time as possible. We'll get Hugo there at the back as well, the 6'6" centre back as well. 72 minutes played there. Made our 2 changes here. Going to leave 1 more just in case there's an injury. And Imbrigason goes long. It's flicked on and it's fallen to Patarusun. Maybe a chance for FH to maybe go down the other end and finally get themselves a chance here. Patarusun's ball. Bobakaz is bombing forward, but that's cut out there. And Callas picks up the ball. Callas's ball is pretty rushed and not cut out, but Bojan gets on it now. But once again, we can't keep it. See, as soon as we take off one of our key centre mids, we seem to lose it a little bit more in the middle of the park. But Stephen gets on it. That's a poor touch from Stephen. Bobakuz is going to have a chance here. Running at his man, he hits it straight at Murta. Murta saves. Finally, a highlight for our keeper to get, cheer something about. It's a good save there at the front post. A save he should be making, let's be honest. It's just, once again, like I've said, we bring on a centre mid and we seem to bring off one of our star centre mids and we seem to crumble. We just need that depth to, obviously, when they grow, it'll be great, obviously, but it just highlights how important finding a player like Pereira could be for us long term, and we want to keep him here for as long as possible. Prospect gets on the ball there. Can he just find a nice, easy pass? Instead, he just thumps one long, which I don't like, but he's found Filipov's chest. Filipov's found Flamen. Flamen, will he run at goals and maybe look for his hat-trick? Still Flamen. Flamen, oh, he's put it wide. He had a chance to get his hat-trick and he's put it wide. With that chance and him missing that chance, it's maybe time to get Gunnarsson on into this position here as a winger on attack for the dying 10 minutes of this game. Coming back from injury, just good to keep his match fitness up. It's good to see Flamen coming back from injury and playing superbly well as well. I expect to see Gunnarsson in the starting 11 soon, but if Callas keeps getting 8.0 match ratings, it's finding it hard to take him out. As we head into the last bit of added time here, we're going to win this game by the looks of it 4-0 unless they score right now, FH, and they might have a chance if Martinson turns. Instead, he lays it all the way back here, and we may get away without not conceding in the game finally as well. We don't concede too many goals in the league, to be honest, but it's just every time we seem to do a live game, we always seem to concede. Somehow that's not a foul from Magna. That's really questionable, to say the least, but that should be game over as it hits Filipov's feet, and it is. We do win 4-0 at home, first game of the season, absolutely pumping FH. We get to the pep talk here. We're going to tell them I'm very happy with the result and the way you played. Look at that, sensational stuff. The boys have played superbly. Filipov getting man of the match, our key man. We're going to move forward here, give the game a save. If you like the transfer dealings that we have made this season or this summer in terms of the Icelandic summer transfer period, let me know in the comments if you think that Pereira is going to be an absolute wonder kid for us, turn into an absolute star. Let me know. I'm actually worried that we do have like the 40 mil release fee or whatever it is on him, because I actually think he might grow into that potential, then he's going to be worth the 40 mil. But once again, we just bought a player for 14, sold him for 40. It's not too bad profit. Let me know what you think maybe of Callis. I reckon Callis could have the potential to grow into being one of the players that like William Stewart or something along those lines. He looks just as good as like William Stewart did when he first regened at the centre of excellence as well. Obviously, if he turns to any sort of play as close to William Stewart, we've got quite a player on our hands as well. And with his consistency right at the moment, he definitely reached that potential as well. We've made some really good signs. I feel we're in a very good spot. Let me know if you think the squad is now in a position where it's strong enough now to maybe get out of the Champions League group. Lucky last, as always, we do stream HK live on Twitch. We won't be streaming tonight, so it's already 10:30 at night. But there will be a link in the description below. If you go and click that link, put it a follow, it will give you a notification. We do go live on Twitch. We do stream as often as possible when we can, HK live, because it's always better to interact and have people watching while you grinding out the game. We put pretty much most, if not all, Champions League group stage games on live on Twitch, and then when we get out the group, we'll try to do the knockout games on Twitch as well. So check us out on Twitch. If you like the episode, give it a like. This is Damien signing off once again from episode 39 of the Rise of Icelandic Football with HK. Enjoy your day or night, guys, and thank you for checking out another episode. Episode 40 won't be too far away. Catch you later, guys. Thank you and goodbye.